What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So with the slow trickle of news about Pokemon Sword and Shield allowing us to learn a little bit more about the game recently, it's brought about a lot of exciting new details and discussion from fans as we attempt to digest everything we've learned recently. While overall we still don't know much about the game, there are several things we can now theorize about the game with the information we now have, and in today's video, we'll actually be looking at 10 Pokemon Sword and Shield mini-theories that I have come up with. Now, these are mini not only because they're short, but also because admittedly, there's not a whole ton of evidence for them, given we don't have a ton of info about the games in general, so they're more so based on the smaller pieces of evidence with a few good hunches thrown in there for good measure. They are still quality though, and if nothing else interesting, so with all that being said, why don't we go ahead and take a look at them. Alright, so this first theory has to do with our newest good boy, Yammer. Yammer was introduced to us in the E3 demo for Sword and Shield, and not only is he a Corgi Pokemon, but he's also an electric type. It's the fact that he is an electric type that we're going to be focusing on here, because I personally believe Yammer could be the pre-evolution to the other mysterious electric dog Pokemon we saw in the first trailer. In the first trailer, in one of the stadium scenes, there is a logo featuring a lightning bolt-esque dog Pokemon that can be seen, and as we know, Yammer is also an electric dog who was also first seen in one of the stadiums, I might add, but he doesn't look anything like the dog in the logo, which makes me believe that this could actually be Yammer's evolution, because how many electric dogs could we possibly get in Sword and Shield that aren't a part of the same family, you know? Either way though, I am definitely looking forward to seeing what happens with these two, to say the least. Another mystery Pokemon we were introduced to in the latest trailer was a mysterious bird Pokemon that sits atop Professor Magnolia's cane. It doesn't resemble any Pokemon we've seen before, which most likely means it's a new Pokemon, and many people have suggested that it could be the pre-evolution to Corviknight. However, I personally believe that it's its own Pokemon and is not a pre-evolution to Corviknight. This is mostly just based on one of those good hunches I talked about earlier, but I personally feel that the only reason people are making this connection is because Corviknight was the only bird Pokemon we were shown in the Direct, so it's the only Pokemon we know that it could even be potentially related to at all. Plus, with Corviknight having its own taxi service feature, I doubt that Magnolia would have the pre-evolution on her cane as well, because I just don't think this Pokemon would get that much attention, especially since it's not a starter or a legendary or something like that. Moving on, we've got a theory about the mysterious Squirrel Pokemon. This is a Pokemon that can be seen on an NPC shirt in silhouette form during the Direct trailer, and a very unclear look at it can also be seen in one of the crowds as well. The theory I have about this guy is that he's actually going to be at least part grass type, or maybe his evolution will be. I say this because he is seen on an NPC shirt who is amongst the crowd at the grass gym who are all wearing green shirts, and this Squirrel Pokemon is on a green shirt as well. I really don't know why this kid would be wearing this shirt in this crowd if this Squirrel Pokemon was normal type or rock type or something like that. That might seem kind of odd for a Squirrel Pokemon, but it makes perfect sense given the evidence, so I thought it was worth a spot in the video. Now here's a bigger one, and it involves the box art legendary Zacian and Zamazenta. In the quick cinematic we see of the two, they begin by fighting each other, but then seem to team up against something that is coming their way, and it's when they do this that we actually see them flare up a little bit and possibly change into a new form. That's why I believe the plot of these games might revolve around these two legendaries needing to come together in order to either access their full power, or to take down whatever is going to be the antagonist of these games. Given that the box art legendaries of other games are mostly alienated from each other in their respective games, something like this where they actually come together in some way for the purpose of the plot would actually be really cool, so hopefully this cinematic is in fact indicative of what's to come. Speaking of Zacian and Zamazenta, I believe the third legendary that will complete their trio will be based on a wand or some other kind of magical staff. This is because A, we know that most likely there will be a third legendary to accompany these two, and B, when it comes to swords and shields, we have seen them paired with wands and or magical staffs in other places, and it just makes for a good fit, especially considering the UK's history with magic, both fictional and non-fictional. Plus, seeing as how Zacian and Zamazenta get their names partially from the cyan and magenta colors of their games, a third legendary in this trio could use this naming scheme as well, and could very well use green as it has been the color of choice for a couple third legendaries already, and green is also a color that is often associated with magic, so I feel like this one has a pretty legit shot at coming true if I do say so myself. Next up is a theory about everyone's new favorite Pokemon, Wooloo. Now, Wooloo has already captured the hearts of millions all across the world, but there is more in store for us with this adorable sheep Pokemon, as it is most assuredly going to evolve at least once, and I believe when it does evolve, it's going to evolve into a normal fairy type. Why I say this is because just based on its cuteness alone, fairy type is not a stretch at all. In addition to this, it is most likely the starting mammal of the region, as we see it very early on in the game, and there have been other starting mammals recently that have evolved into dual normal types as well, as Bibarel is normal water type and Diggersby is normal ground. Finally, the thing that I think makes this the most likely is that Wooloo is known to be sheared for its wool in the Galar region, which is then made into a bunch of different products that are a specialty of Galar, and this can be seen subtly in its design with its drapery-like braids. This is most likely going to be featured more prominently in its evolution, and I could very easily see this feature of its design becoming more regal, if you will, as it evolves, similar to the way Florges and Gardevoir both become a little fancier with their evolutions, both of which also happen to be fairy type. Okay, so we've been focusing pretty heavily on the Pokemon themselves so far, but next is a theory about one of the human characters, Nessa. Now, given the fact that the Galar region is based on the UK, the name Nessa is definitely an homage to Loch Ness from Scotland, and the fact that she's a water-type gym leader pretty much seals the deal on this. However, my overall theory here is that Nessa will actually have a Loch Ness monster-inspired Pokemon as well. It just seems like it would be a complete troll to base a human character on Loch Ness, but not give her or at least feature a Loch Ness monster Pokemon as well. I definitely would prefer her to have a brand new Pokemon based on the Loch Ness monster, but seeing as how we already have one in Lapras, I could see her having that too. That part of the theory is definitely a toss-up, but I do for sure expect her to have some kind of Loch Ness monster Pokemon when the game releases. Since we're on the topic of Pokemon gyms and gym leaders though, I believe the third gym will not only be located in the Steampunk City, but most importantly, it will also be fire type. This is because not only is it located fairly close to both the grass gym, which we're virtually certain is the first one, and the water gym, which is most likely the second one, but with grass and water most likely being the types for the first and second gym, a fire type for the third gym would give us the starter types as the first three gyms, which obviously makes sense, would be really cool, and I don't think it's actually been done before if I remember correctly. Also, I think the fact that the Steampunk City, which is the possible location of the third gym, would also be a perfect fit for a fire type gym pretty much seals the deal on this one. Moving from gym leaders to the champion of the entire Galar region, we've seen in new trailers that Charizard seems to be the signature Pokemon of Galar's champion Leon, and this is why I believe that Charizard is going to get some kind of new form in this game. This might not exactly be what everyone wants to see since Charizard gets so much attention already, but I honestly feel like this one is inevitable because why would the champion, an extremely important character of a brand new region, have an old Pokemon as his ace if it wasn't going to get updated with some kind of new form? It just wouldn't make any sense when you could just as easily make a brand new Galar Pokemon as ace, which would be way more appropriate if that was the case. I think this is going to be similar to the situation with Diantha, whose ace is Gardevoir, but it's Gardevoir because Gardevoir can Mega Evolve. It also wouldn't make sense for Charizard to be Leon's ace just because of the new Dynamaxing feature, because Dynamaxing doesn't change the Pokemon at all. It doesn't give it a new feature that would warrant it being the Pokemon of his team to show that new feature off. So in one way or another, I'm pretty confident that Charizard is going to be receiving some type of new form or evolution in these games because of this. And last but not least, I believe the city where the grass gym is located is actually the origin of Dynamaxing, or where Dynamaxing first occurred. I say this because it's also the location of that giant hill figure that we saw in the reveal trailer, and I believe that this hill figure is showcasing Dynamaxing, or possibly the first Pokemon to have Dynamax, due to the fact that the figure itself is giant and towering over a bunch of smaller figures. There's also the fact that in this city there's a bunch of mysterious stones with these weird symbols on them just laying around that very well could have some type of mystical energy about them that could have contributed to how Dynamaxing started, and most certainly mean something at the very least. And then there's the fact that there is also a gym in this city, which are the only places outside of max raid battles that you are able to Dynamax your Pokemon. And then the real clincher to all of this is that once again, the grass gym is most likely the first one, and since you can only use Dynamaxing in gym battles, this would obviously be where the feature would be explained. And just like with Mega Evolution in X and Y, the place where we were introduced to Megas is also where we were taught about its origins. So yeah, this is another one that I am super confident in. I definitely believe the first gym town is going to be the origin of the Dynamax phenomenon. And there we have it, everyone. Those were 10 mini-theories for Pokemon Sword and Shield. To be honest with you, I had a lot of fun putting these together, and they were a really nice contrast from your regular standard full-length theory, so I really hope you guys enjoyed them as well. If you did, be sure to leave a like and let me know in the comments below if you think any of these are actually true, and which one you like the best. Also, be sure to subscribe for more Pokemon content every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and check me out on Spotify to listen to my Pokemon remixes, because that directly supports the production of videos like this, and it means the world. Also, be sure to check me out on Twitter if you haven't yet for my Pokemon Sword and Shield giveaway, and with all of that being said, I'll be back with another video on Thursday, so be sure to hit that notification bell so you can be notified when it goes live, and until the next one, I love you guys, and I will smell you guys later.